What's going on? It's Eagles Talk on A2D Radio. And as always, we are brought to you by Baggio's Bread. Located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, they are the home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pies, sandwiches, cutlets, and meatballs. Make sure you mention A2D Radio for 10% off your in-store purchase. We are live. It's me by myself, but I am not going to be alone the whole show. Don't worry. My co-host is just running a little late, but I'm going to hold down the fort by myself for now. And then also, as usual, we will be joined by the one Les Bowen. So, oh, and well, what do you know? My co-host, just as I said, is here. There you are.
There I am.
Right there. just like not even a minute late. What's going on, P-Way? How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm ready for vacation.
You're ready for the season just started.
Well, I'm going away for a little while.
Oh, are you? Where are you going?
Going to South Carolina.
Oh, how long?
A week. That's it.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't had a vacation in forever. I don't think I've taken one since like 2021.
What you need to take more regular vacations. Plus, you're single. You're you've got no kid, no time. Like, enjoy the single life when you can, and your freedom, and go travel, go take vacations. You work too much, bro.
I do work too much.
You work way too much. Enjoy it.
When your construction worker dad says you work too much, when he goes to work at 3 a.m. on his birthday, I work too much.
Yeah. So I will echo those sentiments of your dad. Enjoy yourself. But I'm glad you're going to South Carolina. You were flying down or you're driving?
No, we're driving down Friday at like midnight.
Nice. So that you beat traffic. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'm gonna be so tired. Oh my god.
Yeah, it is what it is. You'll be fine. Just enjoy yourself. South Carolina. That's awesome. Yeah, enjoy the
vacation. Who is it? You know who is enjoying himself?
Who?
Mr. Howard Roseman.
Oh, of course. Mr. Howie Roseman never sleeping, never taking a day off, even if it's during the season. He is like acting like this is like fantasy football with all the trades that he's been making.
He's got ADHD, right? Like that's what it is. Like he's just bored. Oh, it's a random Monday. I don't know what to do. Let me look at 8 different players and make a trade.
Yeah. Yeah, he probably is, but he's active and he's aggressive, and that's what we love about him. So we'll definitely get to the trade in a bit. We're going to cover the I don't know the Eagles game was last week, so it's a few days old, but we're going to take a little bit of an in-between approach as we get ready for the week 2 showdown against the Chiefs. We're going to talk about adjustments that we want to see being made moving forward, for both the offensive side and the defensive side. So we'll talk about that, and we'll also react to some of the other stuff going around, if we have time, going around the league in week 1. But let's get to the breaking news, because we definitely had, this is like the second time in the past month we've had a trade happen right before the show goes on. So we have good luck. We have some good luck on this show. So we had, as we all saw, or if you haven't seen, the Eagles made a trade for Tank Bigsby. I believe it was like a 5th and a 6th round draft pick for Tank Bigsby, running back.
We traded the conditional pick that we got in the Bryce Huff trade as well.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So yeah, we traded that for Tank Bigsby as the running back comes to Philadelphia. I know there's a lot of reports going on around what it means. I know the popular report saying that like they traded for him for his special teams ability as a kick returner, and it has nothing to do with the status and injury status of Will Shipley, which I believe. When it comes to the kick returner part, yeah, I believe that's part of it. I don't believe that's the only thing. So I posted my thoughts on Twitter, and if you didn't see them, go take a look if you're on Twitter. But pretty much, I really like this trade because I think that he complements what Will Shipley brings to the table as a running back. What Will Shipley has, he's like that scat back, smart, receiving back, and with Bigsby, he's more of a reliable, tough, physical, downhill type of runner. That's not that good as a receiver, but hey, like that's why I say it's a compliment to what Shipley brings, right? So with those two, they're going to be a good duo. And remember how leading up to the season, Py the talk that I constantly said like, yeah, this running back room could use an upgrade behind Saquon. I'm not like too confident that if Saquon, knock on wood, were to go down, I'm not too confident that we'd have a running back or two running backs that could really carry the load or like produce well enough in his absence. But now with Bigsby, I think that he is definitely an upgrade from A.J. Dillon, and he can do some things as a runner that Will Shipley can't. Yep. So I think that it's a good trade because now it bolsters our running back room. If you think that he's here just for special teams, just to be a kick returner, okay, you can choose to believe that if you want. I personally, based on my own evaluations of all of these players, I don't believe that's the sole reason they traded for him. I think it's also to boost our depth in our in our running back room. So that's how I see it. People, your thoughts on the trade?
So I think it's multi-layered, like you were talking about. I think it is to bolster their running back room because I don't think the Shipley injury is too bad to where, oh my God, he's out for a while. Like I think it might be something similar to, I'm trying to think. Like it might be something where maybe he's gone for like a week or two, or it's like the Tanner McKee injury where he's probably not going to miss like a long period of time, but they just wanted to have someone available. Like, I think Shipley's probably going to miss 2-3 weeks, but if you can go get someone like Tank Bigsby to help A, improve your running back room, and B, have someone who can return punts, like that's phenomenal. He had what, like 800 yards or something last year?
Something like around that number, yeah.
Yeah, like something around there. Like he makes your running back room rather better. He's explosive. He's an average pass blocker. Not the greatest pass catcher, which is whatever. Like I care more about him as a running back than anything else. And then whatever he can give me on punt returns, like I don't expect anything crazy from him. Like, can you give me a little bit more than Kenny Gainwell was giving me last year? Like, I'd be okay with that if you can give me a better Kenny Gainwell who can give me average pass blocking and some kick returns. I'm happy. I'm good.
Yeah, I hear you. I definitely hear you on that. And I think also another dimension of this that we have to address is with a dynamic kick, the dynamic kick return being as is.
Yep.
It adds value, and we've seen it around the league that these kick returners are taking advantage, and I think that I think there is a value that they are looking to add, and that's why they got Tank. Now, again, I'm going to repeat, I don't think that's the sole reason they brought him in. I think he's too good of a player to be, oh, you're just a special teamer, and we're going to trade you just to play special teams. I think he does add to the running back room as a running back also. And I personally like him more than AJ Dillon, and I think that he'll be a good compliment to Will Shipley. But we shall see. All this is a matter of just continuing to add depth. Now I saw that we have a few comments. I know Chris is saying Bigsby trade is nice, but how does it help our secondary? And then we have more comments like that. It says Ryan Swope says, why not a record? Why not a corner? So stuff like that. And again, go ahead, you can go.
So like we're bringing up, why aren't we helping the secondary? We did. We made that trade. We made that trade like 4 weeks ago.
Exactly.
It's Bennett. That's like I understand that people are freaking out about Adoree. He's cheeks. He's buns. Like we know this. Like. He's like Michael. He was Michael Joquette 2.0 on Sunday or on Thursday. Like we are aware of that. Like it's But I also think a big part of that is because there was no pass rush whatsoever. 30 seconds into the game, you had to throw your defensive game plan in the garbage because your best player was hurt. Or not hurt. Your best player was out of the game because he spit on somebody. So that's something you have to take into consideration. Like, your secondary has honestly played really well. Like, Makuba played really well. Quinyon was good. He had that one bad defensive play, but, like, that's all right. Like, you didn't even know Cooper was – I didn't see Cooper do anything. Like, I don't even think he was targeted or anything like that. Like, I understand, like, oh, we need another corner. We need another corner. And that's completely justifiable considering what we've seen from Adoree week 1. But my argument is, who's walking in here week 2? Who are we getting? That, like, Adoree, that's just going to be light years better than Adoree Jackson. Rasul Douglas is not available because he already got signed away. Asante Samuel Jr. is hurt as shit, and that's why he's not signed. I'm like, Greg Newsome? Are you going after Greg Newsome? That's a guy. He'd be okay, serviceable. I keep seeing people talk about Greg Ward on the Browns, and I'm like, that's not happening. Like, that might be like a middle of the season trade if the Browns like completely like self-destruct. But like, they look serviceable week 1. I don't think that's happening anytime soon. So like, I'll ask the chat, like, who is this corner that we're bringing in? Like, I'm okay if they brought in Mike Hilton. I'd be okay with Stephon Gilmore. But I guess the question is, like, if it's not a free agent, what corner are we trading for right now that makes this roster better? And don't just say, oh, he's better than Adoree Jackson, because you have to teach this guy a whole new defense in week 2.
Yeah, I don't know why the constant like pounding the table for trade for a corner. We did. Just give it time.
If you give me some, if you can go get someone who's going to make a difference on this defense right now, I'm all for trading for him. I think he's already here, but you can't just be throwing names out that make no sense. Like, they're not trading for Denzel Ward. That's not happening.
Not this early in the season.
Also, remember, everyone wanted us to go out and get J.R. Alexander, and he was burnt toast.
Yeah, he looked bad. He looked bad. He looked bad too last night. So I mean, he's aged. So yeah, we will see. Let's use this to segue a little bit to our poll question. But before we do, our good friend Les Bowen joins us. Les, how you doing, Les? How you been?
Great, fellas. How are you?
Good.
All right.
Good. We're doing well. I mean, it's week 1 of the NFL season. Mm-hmm. The Eagles won their first game. I don't care how it looked, but they won. And week 1 of the calendar was awesome in terms of entertaining games and surprises, as it usually is. So I'm doing really well. So we've got our poll question. We talked about the Bigsby trade. Before we get to a poll question, did you have any thoughts on the Bigsby trade?
Well, first of all, if your name is Cartavius, you got to have a nickname of some sort, and his is Tank, so that's cool. Never knew anybody named Cartavius before, but I'm glad they did that. I don't care what they say. They say, oh, this Shipley thing with the ribs is nothing. Shipley's a tiny kind of guy in some ways. He's not a big running back, and he played he got real action in one game and hurt his ribs. And, I think they're sort of guarding against him being not available, more than not just this injury, but the fact that he's a guy that might get dinged quite a bit. And the point, so the question about why not a corner, well, as you guys kind of pointed out, it's not like there's a vending machine and you just put in your money and pick which position you'd like to have a good player. What's on the market at the moment and what you have to give up. And this was not a big for a guy that's seems to be a pretty serviceable young running back. This was not a big ask, and you like that. If there's a position where you're not super stocked and somebody wants to get rid of something that's valuable, then you do that. You don't think, well, that's not the thing that I need the most, so I won't do it. No. It's and they did make the trade for the other the slot corner the other day. Or they picked him up, rather. I shouldn't say made the trade.
Didn't they work him out? You mean Mike Hilton?
Yeah.
I thought they worked him out as well as other people.
Oh, okay. I
thought they worked him out. Yeah.
I thought they signed him, but if they didn't, nonetheless, I think the idea behind working him out was you might be able to, if you can't, we're all hoping Bennett turns out to be the answer there opposite Quinyon Mitchell, right? Well, if that doesn't happen and you do have to move Cooper DeJean over, you're going to need a really good slot corner, and maybe that would be the guy that could come in there and play slot corner if you had to make that move, which they don't want to do. But if they haven't signed him, and today they filled the roster spot, I guess, with Bigbie, so maybe they're not going to. I don't know.
Yeah, there was a bevy of names that they worked out. I saw, and I know Brett Eclipse even alludes to one of them being Quez Watkins. Again, there was a lot of them. The Eagles.
Well, Quez Watkins on the practice squad wouldn't be the end of the world, but
yeah, it wouldn't be the end of the world. A lot of overreaction. People see Quez and they. Yeah,
they're going to replace AJ Brown with Quez.
Wes, I'd rather drop a toaster in the tub with me in it than bring Quez Watkins back.
Even to the practice squad.
Even to the practice squad.
It's just a workout. It's just a workout.
Because I don't trust it. Like, Harry might get stupid. He might look at it. It's like, maybe there's a chance to fix him again. I'm like, no. Don't even think about it. Don't even let it entertain your thoughts.
They did work out another wide receiver, too. They worked out KJ Osborne. So it's not like.
And you never know with these workouts, maybe it was a favor to the agent. Maybe the agent is somebody else's agent, and he really wanted Quez's name out there because Quez isn't getting any action. And we'll look at Quez. What the hell, we want to stay on your good side.
Yeah.
One time when the Eagles had a coaching opening, they interviewed a certain coach who'd been out of it for a good while. I won't say his name. And I was asking around, what the hell? And it was like, it was just a favor to the guy to get his name, in the ESPN, Eagles interview so-and-so, and they're not winning. They would admit it to you if you asked them, we're not going to hire him. No, but, so workout is, there's no downside to working somebody out that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I agree with that. There could be a bevy of reasons as to why they work someone out. So it's kind of like the draft interview thing. Like they bring prospects in for an interview, and it could mean a lot of different things. People, people think fantasy teams think, we worked them out, and that probably means we're going to draft them. No, that doesn't always mean that. I two running backs that come to mind over the years. I remember they brought in Darius Geis for 2 workouts. So everyone's speculating that the Eagles were interested in him. They wanted to target him. No, afterwards it was like, no, we brought him in because he had some off the field stuff that we wanted to really get.
Yeah,
to the bottom
I
of.
think they were interested in him until they did their interview, and then it was like, nah.
That's my point. Just because you work someone out doesn't mean you're going to sign them. It means it could mean a lot of different.
Back when the late Tom Heckert was the Eagles general manager, he would tell you point blank back then. I didn't pay that much attention to who they brought in for draft visits because that was usually it, that they really wanted to get in front of this guy and really see what he was about because he did something in college that they weren't happy about. They didn't have Big Dom back then. They would bring a lot of guys in just to kind of, is this guy on drugs?
They would never draft anyone they brought in, which is hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, and when they first started drafting guys that they brought in, frankly, I was a little caught off guard. I was like, "Oh, they're doing this now."
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's not always we saw the one running back they brought in for a draft visit was Jaden Blue. They didn't draft him. So I mean, it is it is what it is. Coming up everything, but it's good.
But there's no good reason not to take Tank Bigsby at this price, that I know of, if he's healthy.
Yeah,
Guy ran a 4.45 40. He's been a productive NFL back. If Jacksonville wants to give him away practically, then sure.
Yeah.
There was
made your offense drastically better over the last 3 weeks by adding guys like John Mechie and Tank Bigsby.
Yeah. Offer good depth. Yeah, Tank Bigsby was very solid for the Jaguars, especially last year when ETN was struggling, and with the new coaching regime in Jacksonville and them drafting Tootin, it was speculated all offseason that one of ETN or Bigsby was going to be the odd man out, and so ETN looks like he had a good game, and he looks to be like their lead guy for now, and I do think that's the right choice. I think ETN fits that scheme better. I think ETN overall is the better running back despite his down year last year. So Bigsby was available, expendable, and can't it's not a bad thing to take advantage of a low price.
Got a roster spot open, and
Yeah, exactly. So let's get to our poll question that we haven't gotten to yet, but obviously with the breaking news of the Bigsby trade, definitely want to get into that. But regarding the Eagles game, which we haven't had an opportunity to talk about yet since that happened last Thursday, the overall Eagles defensive performance against the Cowboys was more encouraging than concerning. Agree or disagree? Les, what do you think? Did you leave that game being like, okay, like, because Jalen Carter wasn't in there and this is the first game, you actually were positive, you got a more positive take from it, or were you concerned considering how things looked in the first half and how bad Adoree Jackson was for that game?
Well, the Jalen Carter thing disrupts every aspect of the defense, especially since it happens when the game has actually started, and you can't change your game plan or put somebody up in his place or anything. If it happens on the day before the game, you can at least make a little bit of an adjustment. But I thought that really, kicked him in the head. I was not happy at all until the fumble recovery. I thought the defense looked really sluggish. You mentioned the lack of pass rush, which is why we have Zadarius Smith in here now. Other than the linebackers, I didn't see a whole lot that I did like out of that defense, frankly. Everybody's talking about Jordan Davis, and he played a lot of snaps and was good. But the first half, they were giving up runs. Yep. They were giving up everything, really.
Yeah. They did only give up 57 yards in the second half.
Yes. But both teams, this was true for both teams. Once that break happened, the hour-long break, suddenly both defenses were, a brick wall, and neither offense could do anything. It was really strange. I infer that there were a lot of defensive adjustments made, that was easier to do than make offensive adjustments, I guess. I don't know. But it was a strange game in that regard. I really wonder what would have happened if we hadn't had that hour-long break. Just as the Eagles took the ball over after the fumble. To give an agree or disagree answer, I kind of disagree. I didn't find it encouraging. I found it sort of conditionally okay because of Carter, but I wasn't impressed. And I want to see, a lot better than that. I think Zadarius Smith will help, and I think maybe they need to get Bennett on that CB2 and see how he does. He's been here.
Should have started them week 1.
It's a tough thing to come in, even if it was early August. It's a tough thing to come into a system you've never played and just jump, into a starting role. I'm sure they'd rather.
We've done it before.
Rather kind of say, kind of ease him in with week 4, week 5, something like that. Yeah. But I don't think they can do that. Jackson just didn't look functional out there. And I was surprised by that, frankly. I expected him to look functional. This is a guy who's been a starting corner in the league for quite a while. He hasn't always been great, but he's been serviceable. He wouldn't have been out there, he was a first-round pick a good while back now. He has ability, but he just doesn't seem to make plays. So, I would move on from him quickly. But no, I wasn't real encouraged.
Yeah, I hear you. We have some comments I do want to get to. Let's see. Marley does say it was encouraging seeing the adjustments in the second. We were, I guess he means second half. We were without our best offensive players. Also seeing our top 2 draft picks perform well is encouraging. Love that about it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Makuba and Campbell. Yeah.
Yeah. Brett Eclipse does say in regards to the possibility of signing Mike Hilton in the slot corner, I think they should keep Cooper in the slot no matter what. Such an important position for Fangio's defense, and Cooper being in the slot is really significant for the run defense too. I agree with that. I worry about moving Cooper to the slot just because he's so elite in the slot.
If there is a caveat there, it would be that Campbell and Makuba might make it less crucial
for the slot. Yeah,
we don't really know yet. We're going off one game, which is really not any kind of sample size at all. I would rather keep Cooper in the slot, but if you're going to get killed on the outside all day, then I would start thinking about doing something else. And we'll just see. One game isn't enough to change everything.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, PY, what do you think? More encouraged or concerned?
So I think it's encouraging. Like I knew it wasn't going to be perfect. I knew there was going to be a lot of issues its first week. It's a division game. It's the Cowboys. A lot of your starters didn't really play. You're without your star player for the entire game, so that kind of changed everything. Like I said before the game started, I didn't want Adoree Jackson in there. I wanted Bennett. I was willing to risk whatever I needed to risk with Bennett as opposed to Adoree Jackson. And we saw what happened. CeeDee Lamb blessed him in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. He wouldn't have.
CeeDee Lamb is CeeDee Lamb.
He is CeeDee Lamb. But maybe Bennett doesn't give up 105 yards on five catches. Yeah. Maybe he gives up 80 yards or 70 yards on 5 catches.
And they were lucky that Lamb dropped a couple.
Yes.
It was interesting in the Dallas media. I watched the game. I thought he had 2 real drops. And in that last gas pass where he was laying out, I thought that was not really a drop.
Yeah, I wouldn't classify that as a drop.
In the Dallas media, it was 6 drops.
Yeah. Well, he has a drop problem.
But he didn't drop 6 passes. Give me a break here. To them, it was all about if CeeDee Lamb had just caught those passes, the Cowboys would have won by blah, blah, blah. No, it was not 6 drops.
Here's my issue with that, and I know Ryan Swope does say that too. Is if CeeDee Lamb caught passes, the Eagles lose that game. Him dropping passes is the only reason why they won. I have an issue kind of with that statement because if we have to stop acting like the drops are an outlier when it comes to CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb has throughout his whole career had issues with drops.
If you're going to give CeeDee Lamb those catches, give Quinyon Mitchell the interception, and
it's part of who he is, and therefore it's part of the game. It's part of how good the Cowboys execute. So I thought
the Cowboys were fortunate to get out of there with a 4-point loss. I thought it should have been an 11-point loss. Mm-hmm. I think if there hadn't been an hour-long delay, the second that the Eagles recovered that fumble, I think they would have scored on that drive. We'll never know. But that's what I think. I don't think they would have looked back, frankly.
Yep. I honestly believe, too. I think the defense has really clamped down. They used that break to their advantage, and you saw them – really come out and be like, okay, this is what we're going to do to you guys. And it's the offensive struggled, therefore, but at least it was on both sides, right? So I hear you on that. So because of that, I'm going to say I slightly lean toward agree to the poll because of, all the other factors we kind of hinted on, Jalen Carter wasn't in there, and to adjust like that right out the gate is tough. I liked the adjustments that Vic Fangio did in terms of in the second half. You saw so in the first half you saw Quinion Mitchell. He followed and traveled with George Pickens, but in the second half they switched it up and had him follow CeeDee Lamb, which personally to me, which is what I would have done. I thought it was weird that he was following Pickens just because, and it's not because I think Pickens is bad. It's Pickens is a really good wide receiver. I think it's more so because I think that matchup, I would love to. I prefer to see Quinion's skill set against a guy like Lamb, who is a good route runner and good in the slot. So I like that matchup, and I'm glad they made that switch. And you saw in the second half the guys. I think it was you mentioned how the defense they were getting run on in the first half. I think you saw it starts with Jordan Davis. You saw guys like Ajomo and Young really start to play better against the run compared to how they were earlier in the game. And then obviously we know the linebackers, they stood out. They were playing so well. Cooper DeJean playing so well. So I think it was just collectively they started to settle down, started to figure things out more. Things weren't perfect, but I think you saw, them really bear down and just show that they're the more talented side of the ball. They had the better matchups talent-wise, and just over time, it played out that way. It played out the way over time. So I was more encouraged with the defense. Anything else you guys want to highlight or focus on defensively on that side of the ball before we talk about the offense?
Jahad Campbell just looks so good. That's.
I need to rub this in your face, PY.
That's fine. I was wrong. Okay, I was wrong.
Linebacker,
linebacker until they turn him full edge, and then I was right.
Did you see him run the pole in that one rep in Tampa 2? Oh my God,
he's a psycho, bro. He is a psycho.
Oh my God, to be that good in coverage already is amazing.
It really is. It's I guess if you live long enough, the Eagles of 5, 10, 15 years ago never dreamed about having linebacking like they have now. God. It's just a real – I understand it's Fangio, and that's why, and that's what he needs for his defense. But, in fact, I understood that before a lot of people who kept saying that they weren't going to re-sign Zach Bond and blah, 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 but it still is amazing to think what the Eagles' stance was for so many years. And this is such a change.
Yeah, it is. It is such a change. So, yeah, I agree. I love that. I'm very excited to see what the duo of Campbell and Bond. And you could argue Bond probably had I don't want to say the play of the game, but it led to the play of the game with that forced fumble on Miles. Bond chasing down Miles on that long run, preventing that touchdown.
Reaching a top speed of, what was it, 20.58 miles an hour?
Yeah, for a linebacker. And not to be outdone, we saw Zach Bond also run the pole on a Tampa 2 and break up that pass with his helmet in the end zone. So having two coverage linebackers like that is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So kudos to the defense. Let's switch it up to the offense. And we have some comments about, regarding the offense and how we saw it. So Ryan Swope, he does ask, A.J. Brown only one attempt. He should be mad. I don't like that he wasn't. Well, maybe he was, but he hit it well. Ryan, I don't know why you want to start drama. Like, are you insinuating that there should be drama? Because I don't know why you'd want that. And two, I honestly don't think A.J. Brown is fully healthy. I think if you saw him out there.
Thank you. Yes, that's my take.
He was a diversion. Like, if you like, there wasn't even many like a lot of the guys who talk about watching the All-22. Like, supposedly there just wasn't many routes where you're like, oh yeah, he's definitely open. He's going to be available. This is a real route. He was running his routes like half speed at times, from what I was being told. And even if you look at Devontae Smith as well, like there wasn't like a lot of plays where
Right.
he was open. Like the Cowboys schemed it well.
Yeah.
And Jalen
And
Hurts
their corners played real well too.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
Yeah, their corners
Yeah.
played really
They pretty
well.
much played cover 4 in quarters pretty much the whole game. Like they played over the top with that shell, and they really made an effort to prevent big plays. And the corners, like you said, the corners played well. That's what makes that game. Even though if you look at the numbers in terms of total yardage and yards per attempt for Jalen Hurts, even though he didn't pass the ball down the field a lot, it was a really good game because he took what was there. He didn't force anything, and he
no turnovers, nothing
yeah.
even close to a turnover.
Exactly. So it was an amazing game by Jalen Hurts, who pretty much like he kind of showed that like you don't have to put up gaudy numbers to be able to play a really, really, really well, really outstanding game.
So I saved this tweet from earlier today. This is from Brendan Deeg. Jalen Hurts week 1 rankings among QBs. Completion percentage, number 1. QBR, 1. CPOE, 1. EPA generated, 3rd. And then success rate, 4th. So while he didn't have the gaudy numbers and everything, he was efficient. He did what he needed to do. He played like an elite quarterback does. The funniest part is always, he doesn't have the numbers, and it's an issue. Yeah. But when Joe Burrow does it, oh my God, what a winner! That's what he does. He just wins.
Why do you have to compare it to? I don't know why you.
Because when Burrow does it, it's not a problem. When Hurts does it, it's a giant problem.
It's insecurity. You're just being.
It's not insecurity. It's
You're
a
just being an
insecure
fan.
It's a double standard.
Burrow's awesome. Allen is awesome. Lamar's awesome. Hurts is awesome. They're all awesome. I don't know why it's constant.
But while we're talking about offense, Kevin Petullo. First half, I was like, "Oh my God, this guy's a genius! This is great! And then after the fumble recovery, his idea was to run it into the middle of the line about 30 times. I just, I came away with no idea of what Kevin Petullo wants out of his offense. Frankly, there was some motion early. There was. Under center early, and then everything became handing it off to Saquon and him getting killed. Landon Dickerson's trying to play hurt and then goes out of the game, and they're running it into the middle of the line over and over and over again with a 4-point lead. It's not like they were up 20. I was not happy with that development. And Marley's point here about the route concepts, I think that's part of it too. That's something that we've seen before with this team. What is the deal with these route concepts that don't seem to generate anything? Other teams manage with lesser wide receivers to scheme them open, and you just don't see a lot of that with the Eagles.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, I was good with. I thought the play calling overall, even the route concepts, were fine in the first half. I think the second half, especially after the delay, that's when it really what are you doing? Now I know that I saw someone suggest, or I heard someone suggest, I don't know if it's Fran Duffy, I don't know if it was someone else on Twitter, but they had mentioned it seemed as though right after the delay, they kind of played a conservative approach and said, we're just not going to lose this game. We're going to take what it gives. And
I don't like that.
Whether that's good or bad, I know we came out with the win. Maybe that was the reasoning behind it. Okay. But regardless, you do want to see more. And I don't know what it is about this team. This goes back to the Doug Peterson days when he was our coach and calling plays and, all the offensive coordinators we had then at that time. But for some reason, the Eagles I swear, we're like the number one team when it comes to running Hank. Hank is the go-to for this team in certain situations. And I don't know why that route concept. It's a basic high school route concept or that for some reason the Eagles love. I don't know why. I do not know why. It drives me nuts whenever we see it just running 5 curls. It's annoying, but hey, they run it. I don't know. We will. What I will say, it's a little bit early to
Oh yeah, one game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so early to get on Kevin Patullo. One game in, and let's pump the brakes and be a little bit more patient. I know it's PTSD from Ben Johnson. I get it, and I totally understand. And I would only hope that it doesn't lead to Brian Johnson. I'm sorry, I apologize. PTSD from Brian Johnson. I would only hope it doesn't get to that level of concern. It doesn't get that bad, but. It's week one. Let's give Kevin Patullo a little bit more patience, a little bit more patience.
I mean, we're actually giving Saquon goal line touches, so I think we're doing a little bit better than Brian Johnson calling plays. Also, Julio Jones is not here getting screens, so
instead it was Devontae getting the screens.
Yes, oh my God,
which happened, and Devontae did well, and we had some screen plays, and I was just like, okay, like.
Jahan Dotson.
Jahan. And I had said this. I know we kind of all agreed that I really think if Jahan just does this consistently all this year, where he provides one or two big plays, crucial plays a game, in that wide receiver 3 role,
just needs his shot, man.
That's an absolute win for the Eagles, and I think he's absolutely capable of it. I still think. He's very talented, and for a wide receiver 3, he could be one of the better ones in the league.
He's a steal at wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
And I really think it was all about getting Hurts comfortable with him. And that's going to come out as a knock at Hurts, and it really isn't. But he is really that guy
with a quarterback. Like
he is really that guy. If he
doesn't show it up like 3 weeks before the season starts, it doesn't help. Like. Somebody was talking about it on Twitter, and I said, what do you think clicked for him this year? I said, last year he was a guy. This year he's a teammate.
Yeah.
Because when you're just here like a few weeks before the season starts, like nothing, there's no chemistry, there's no comfortability. There's like, I'm not used to you. You don't know what I like. I don't know what you like. But if
not
you're
every
here,
quarterback needs that, but Jalen does. And Jalen's just fine with me. That's just one of the things you have to bake into the equation.
Yeah. I mean, there are quarterbacks that have their preferences like that. I know it's not to this degree, and I'm not saying Hurts is this guy, but I always remember Peyton Manning was such a stickler for certain things, and the way his wide receivers would do certain things. And if you didn't do it properly, you weren't getting the ball. You were not getting the ball if you weren't doing it exactly the way he wanted to. So some quarterbacks are like that, and so it's part of it. And I'm glad that chemistry has built between the two of them, because I think it could pay dividends. And I mean, if we're already seeing AJ Brown being hurt heading into week 1, and God forbid we're going to get hit with more injuries. But if that's the case, I do have faith in Jahan to be able to step up and make plays when we need him to do. So
I want to see him more John Mechie.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, like, it's another instance where he came on late in the season, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how much he can contribute, but I mean, it is nice to have him here. It is very nice to have him here.
But it all starts with the offensive line, and I want to hear that Landon Dickerson is basically okay. I think everybody assumes, that, well, he limped off, but he'll be okay for next week, and that's, not all injuries are like that. We'll see. I sure hope, because he's a pretty important player for this team. And the offensive line did not have a wonderful second half at all in any phase. Mailata really, did not look very good. And they need Landon Dickerson out there. There's no doubt about it.
Tyler Steen looked good.
He did. Tyler Steen was solid. He really was. Yes.
Jordan Mailata.
And Lane was really good. And Juergens was pretty good, but the other side,
the left side had their issues. Jordan Mailata, he got beat a couple times, and I'm just like, oh, come on, like, it's hanker down here a little bit. But I mean, everyone has a bad game. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not panicking with Jordan Mailata, but the Landon Dickerson thing, you would only hope. I don't want to speak ill of him, because I know he was hurt. And him trying to tough it out probably was like so difficult for him. And I give kudos to him trying to really be out there, But I think at some point you commend the toughness. At some point, you got to realize that like if you're out
not
there,
effective, you can't play. Yeah.
yeah, you become a detriment. And so kudos to him. But at some point, yeah, it was the right thing to get him out and put Toth in. And so we'll see. Again, it's week 1. Crazy things happen in week 1, and we have to just remember patience. There's a lot of stuff that we experienced even last year where there was a lot of concerns we had and spoke of. It's a long season, and so things absolutely can change. So let's let them change. And so Les, before you go, I'll ask this around around the horn here. If there's one adjustment, either offense or defense, you want to see, what is the one thing you want to see be implemented as early as next week against the Chiefs? Les.
Well, the easiest one is the CB2 situation, maybe Bennett playing CB2 and them straightening that out somehow. Maybe it's tied to a better pass rush. I think that's quite likely. And I think they will get a better pass rush against Kansas City. I guess I'll stick with that. I'd like to see them run the ball more consistently like they used to do it, rather than just, falling all over each other like they were last week sometimes. And again, I think they'll run it pretty well against Kansas City as well. So, but I definitely want to see the corner situation. I don't want to see, Patrick Mahomes running it up with some. He doesn't even have good wide receivers. I don't want to see Worthy out there with his arm in a sling catching one-handed
right.
ball.
Yeah. His brace on and he's catching one-handers in the end zone. Yeah, you definitely don't want to see that. PY, what's one adjustment you want to see moving forward for the Eagles?
We're talking offense or defense or both?
Whatever you want to do.
Adoree Jackson not being my CB2.
Well, that's what Les just said. So you
maybe some creativity in the route trees, maybe some better scheming for our wide receivers. Let me see. Maybe a little bit. I'd like to see continuously more for Dallas Goedert because I like what I saw from him early on. Because we get this thing with Dallas Goedert where he'll get like a few targets here and there, and then like something will happen, or they'll just go away from him for like 3 games, and then he gets hurt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I hear you. I want to see. I want to see on the offensive ground game get going again. I want to see them really start to hanker down and establish themselves again on the ground and bounce back, because that's now 2 games. If you go back to the Super Bowl, 2 games in a row, one ironically against the Chiefs and then against the Cowboys, where the ground game wasn't activated really well. And so I'm not saying it's a concern, but I just like to see it. I'd like to see what Kevin Patullo has to in terms of the playbook to throw some really nice wrinkles. I know he has it, because we saw a lot of under center, some pistol and stuff like that in the first half. I want to continue to see what else he can add to that run dimension. So, that's what I'd say. Les, thank you for coming on with us again, as always.
My pleasure, fellas. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. And then hopefully next week we'll be talking about a Chiefs win. All righty?
We'll be fresh off of a game next week.
I said Chiefs. I meant Eagles win over the Chiefs. I apologize. I just realized I said Chiefs win. But yeah, Eagles win over the Chiefs.
3rd straight win versus the Chiefs.
Yeah. All right, Les. We'll see you later.
All right, fellas. Thank you.
Bye, Les.
Les Bowen doing Bowen on the Birds with us. PY, anything else from that game? Or if you want to touch on anything moving forward to week 2 in this matchup against the Chiefs? The Super Bowl rematch, the one that you want to see so badly.
I do, because it's never happened. No team has ever faced each other 3 times in the Super Bowl.
Yep, I know.
Like that's like the ultimate rivalry, like ever. You tell me you wouldn't have liked this, like let's say it happened somewhere else. Wouldn't it have been crazy to see Eli versus Brady for a 3rd time?
Not really.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I would be very excited to watch that in the Super Bowl, just because it was just like that rubber match, man.
I don't know. I don't have the same excitement you do. I'd like to see the Eagles face another team.
I'd
I'm
like them to
not
say-
saying I hate it. I'm not saying I don't. I'm not saying I would hate the matchup and complain about it. I'm just saying like I don't share the excitement. I'm not ecstatic about it. And
I'd be okay with tush pushing the Bills into infinity and beyond.
Mhm.
I'd be fine with beating the Ravens. I'd be fine with beating the Bengals. But just getting that third matchup versus Mahomes would just be it would be historic.
All right. I mean, I'm sure there's people that agree with you. I don't. I would rather not see that. But it is what it is. I'm trying to think of anything else.
Josh Uche.
Oh yeah, he played really well.
He was the top graded defensive player in the NFL.
Based on PFF.
Yeah.
Oh, then screw that.
So what? That's still impressive.
Nah, screw that. No, I don't need PFF to tell me that Josh Uche played a really good game. Yeah, he played really well. Trying to think of anything else. I mean, yeah, I think that's all I got. Predictions for this upcoming game.
I think we beat the Chiefs like decisively. Like there's not going to be any Worthy. There's no Rashee Rice. Like it's just a bunch of guys. You know, Pacheco still doesn't look like himself.
What? Yes, he does. He just only had. I don't know why he didn't have a lot of touches, but when he touched the ball, he looked like his old self. I don't know what you're talking about. I disagree with that.
That's fine. I'm not worried about the Chiefs. Like I just think they look old and they look like they don't have special help when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, like other than Mahomes. Like and it only works for so long. Like they always talk about, oh, you know, Patrick's like Brady. You know, he can elevate anybody until he doesn't have anybody, and then you need guys like. You can't just be throwing.
I'm not going to. I think we do win. I'm not going to say emphatically. Your Homer self likes to get ahead of yourself, and just like last year, you guarantee wins and stuff like that.
I was right. I was right about everything. So
no, you guaranteed a blowout. It wasn't a blowout in that game. I remember you guaranteed we would blow them.
I was believing in my coach, and you and Brinks doubted it, and
you just
I was right.
You get way too ahead of yourself.
It's okay.
So
I'm all right.
I'm not going to.
I'll be so far ahead. I'll give you some time to catch up. That's just me doing you a service.
I am not going to predict a blowout against the Chiefs, especially since
I said decisively.
It says especially since we'll be in Kansas City, but I do think we're going to win. I think we're going to beat the Chiefs. I just think that with the Chiefs wide receiver room being banged up, you know, Worthy's probably not going to play. And they're still, I say banged up, but I should say like not ideally right now because
they have a garbage wide receiver.
Obviously, Rashee Rice is out, and then Worthy is out. So I think we will talk about a game where Adoree can bounce back if he does start. You know, if there's a game he could bounce back again, it could be this game. But I won't guarantee it. But I'm just saying, I think we will win, and I think we will come on top this Sunday. But we shall see. I think that's all I got. PY. Any last thoughts?
Go Birds.
Go Birds. All right. For those listening in, thank you for tuning in. Thank you also to our sponsors, Baggio's Bread. Make sure you mention A2D for 10% off of your in-store purchase. We got a few shows off this week. I know there's no lazy booking and there's no hockey show tomorrow. But if you're listening right now, we have a rare opportunity tomorrow night. Film Don't Lie will be live tomorrow because there is no hockey happy hour. So we have the opportunity to go live. So we will be live. I think we're going to go on around 9:30, something like that. But so just make yourself available so you can catch Pete Evans, that is, and I talk about the NFL and break down some film and talk some more football with you. So tune in tomorrow night to catch that with us and talk some more football. But for myself, for PY, and for the rest of the A2D family, we appreciate you. Go Birds, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.